I was thinking yesterday and this morning, reflecting, I realized that most human beings, not all, but most, they are not living their own life. As an individual, just think about that. You can waste a lifetime not living your own life, living your life. You're trying to live someone else's life. You're trying to be like someone else. You're stealing other people's lives. You're trying to appease and get along. It's amazing to me the few people who are truly just living their life. And you can't do that and you have no idea what life is like until you live your life. But I also realize in nowadays society, over the last 50, 60 years or so, give or take, that you were never taught to live your life growing up. You were not prepared in a physical way, practical way of taking care of yourself when you become 18 and older. You were not taught as a kid responsibility, clean the house, your room, wash your dishes when you finish, or cut the grass, take the trash out. And then as you got older, a little more responsibility and more responsibility from your parents, by your parents. You were not taught that. They did not prepare you in a practical sense that when you grow up to be 18 and older, you're out on your own. They didn't prepare you for that. Isn't that amazing? And I can honestly tell you, and sometimes I think about people in my class that I went to high school with, or people that are my age that I've met over the years. I can honestly tell you, I don't know. There may be someone. I'm just not, because I'm not in contact with everyone that I graduated high school with and grew up around. But I don't know of anyone in my class that I went to high school with that were not prepared in a practical way to live their lives. That when they turned 18, they would be able to go out and then have something to start with and grow with that in a practical life, in a job, in a business, and all that. We were taught that. It's weird that it is not being taught now. I just never imagined that one day parents will have children, boys and girls, and not prepare them in a practical way to live their lives so when they go out, they can just take care of themselves. No matter how difficult it gets, no matter what situation comes along, they just take care of themselves. And they grow in taking care of themselves. I just never thought. The number of people I run into today that cannot take care of themselves, and especially men, is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing to me. And so I realized, as I reflected, that because you were not taught in a practical way of how to take care of yourself when you turn 18, move out, because they've been teaching you by example and, doing it and everything, growing up. You have not been taught spiritual ways as well. You have not been taught to go from the practical way to the spiritual way and have both operating on your behalf. And so as a result of that, you're struggling in life. And if someone tries to tell you, unless you're ready to hear it and overcome, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. Your excuses work better for you. So you think. You can live, and I'm telling you this not because someone said it. You can live your life. You were your life, right? You were created to live your life, not somebody else's life, not somebody else's ideas, not somebody else's plans, whether it's the preacher or the teacher or the politician or the president or the richest man or woman in the world or the most popular man or woman in the world, famous, so-called famous person. You can't live their life. You were created to live your life, but you're undeveloped because your parents did not teach you anything. And so you don't know how to transfer from one to another and make the one a whole. You don't know how to do it. And it's sad. It's pretty sad. But I understand it. You still have a chance, though. All you have to do is wake up and take control of your life. You're living everybody else's ideas of life. And they're not working. Look how miserable you are. I want you to really think about that. Excuse me. You can spend a whole lifetime not living your life and not knowing that you're not living your life. Even though it's a struggle, you still think you're living your life. Each individual have been given a life to live, but you don't know what that is. And if someone try to tell you where to look for it, really look for it, that's too much work. If you notice, you haven't found it in fame or fortune. You haven't found it in popularity. You haven't found it in wherever you might live or might not live. You haven't found it in government taking care of you. You haven't found your life in blaming others, calling them races and names, and trying to get revenge and jealousy and envy and strife. You haven't found your life there. You haven't found it on top of the mountain or on the bottom of the mountain. You haven't found it in your jobs. You haven't found your life. What a sad way to live. When you really can find it if you look. There is another world. There is another reality. And you won't look in that world. You're just looking in a shallow world for shallow things. And you're not happy. Even when you read the Bible, you quote the scriptures, you pray to God, Lord, please help me. You pray to Jesus, Jesus, come by here. You worship the Lord, you go to church, and you still haven't found it. You're still miserable. But anyway, according to a 2023 Harris poll for Bloomberg, about 45% of people ages 18 to 29 live at home with their family, lived at home with their family in 2023. 45%. Ages 18 to 29. All of those people are miserable people. They are not happy. You could bank on that. And their father and mother don't love them. Their parents don't love them. If their parents had loved them, they would have prepared them to leave home at 18, no later than 19. They would have prepared them growing up. They would have insisted that their children grow up and be responsible because they have to go out at some point, or should go out at some point, and live their lives. But the parents didn't care. They have no love. The one thing you can bank on, you can bank on this and never have to work again in your whole life if you bank on it. Mothers and fathers, and especially mothers, do not love their children. It's a lie when you hear a mother cry and say how much she loves her children. She's lying when she's at a school board meeting pretending to be upset about transgenders. She's lying when she's at a school board meeting pretending that she's upset because the kids are being taught everything but reading, writing, and arithmetic. The mother's lying. It's all fake tears. It's all to get an action. It's all for a thrill and to be seen. And the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. What they do the very next morning, they send those children off to that same school, and they go out and pretend to be the man of the house, to be equal to a man. They go to work. They drop the little baby off at the daycare center. And yet they cry when something happened and pretend they were a good mother. No, you're not. Mothers are no good today. Zero good. Zero. They don't put anyone or anything first but themselves, their ego. And the kids suffer because they have not been prepared like they did in the good old days. They did it in the good old days. They prepared. And when you turn 18, you're out on your own. Your mother said, oh, go to college. I'll take care of you. Go to college. Anything to control you for personal interest, to feel good about feeling bad.